Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Canada Football Central, your home for everything Canadian men's football. And before we dive into the CPL, let's take a moment to appreciate and congratulate Spain for their World Cup win yesterday. Unfortunately, I'm a Messi fan, so it was a bit of a sad sight to see, but it doesn't change anything on his legacy. So while the World Cup is done, that doesn't mean we're done with football. That actually means full focus is right back to the Canadian Premier League, and Matchday 13 just wrapped up on Saturday, and it gave us goals, gave us drama, gave us a few storylines and things that could shape the rest of the season. So where else to begin if not Vancouver FC's big win over Supra de Quebec? We're kicking things off on the West Coast because Vancouver FC absolutely demolished Supra de Quebec with a 5-1 win, taking it to 11 goals in their last 3 league games for the Eagles. Outrageous attacking form, I would say. And though Mohamed Amissi continues to lead the Golden Boot race with 6 goals, the big headline this weekend was former Bournemouth and Sheffield United striker Lys Mousset getting a first half goal. Now the Eagles, while they sit fourth in the table and title talk may be a bit premature, playoff talk looks like it could be worth it. And if they keep scoring goals at this rate that they have been in the last few games, who's to say postseason might be far off for them? Anything is possible. Now, while Vancouver were flying high, for Quebec it was another tough weekend. That loss leaves them second last in 7th place and 6 points behind Vancouver actually in 4th place. Though Vancouver have played 2 games more. For Supra de Quebec, they have shown flashes this season, but the defense is still a little bit leaky, and the red card they picked up over the weekend did not help matters at all. So I feel like if they can tighten things up, stay a bit more disciplined, there is a shot of them sneaking into the playoffs conversation. But right now, as it stands, it definitely is an uphill climb. And speaking of teams trying to climb, at the top of the table, Forge FC remains in first place, even though their match against Pacific FC was postponed due to poor air quality. So what that meant was Cavalry had the door to close the gap on the log leaders, and they did, well, sort of, because Cavalry walked away with a 1-1 home draw against Halifax Wanderers, where Warshevsky scored from the spot, taking him to 6 goals. But guess what? Isaiah Johnston as well hit back, scoring his 6th goal of the season, meaning both teams shared the spoils. So on the balance of play, I feel like a draw feels fair based on how the game goes, but Tommy Wilden Jr. and his men will feel like those were 2 points dropped. But still, Cavalry sit 9 points ahead of 3rd place Atletico Ottawa, so the race right now is looking more like a race for 3rd and 4th place, with 1st and 2nd sort of running away with it. And speaking of Ottawa, the Gustavo Leal era has officially begun in the nation's capital. The Brazilian took charge of his first game over the weekend, and while the match ended in a draw, the performance was something of a breath of fresh air for Atleti. Ottawa have only won 2 in their last 5 league games, so this draw again may be a bit of a positive, but the energy, the structure, the intent, all those were clear signs of improvement based on what Atleti fans have seen in recent times. You can see the players sort of buying in, I would say, into Leal's ideas with a bit quicker transitions, a bit more discipline, and hopefully an identity that will see them continue and progress throughout the rest of the season. But a solid first game for Leal in his new dugout, and if this is a sign of things to come, Ottawa could be climbing the table sooner rather than later. Before we wrap up, the Golden Boot race is heating up, ladies and gentlemen. 3 players have now joined Vancouver's Mohamed Amissi on 6 goals. And again, with the way teams are attacking lately, the leaderboard could be in for a lot of changes over the next few game weeks. So before we go, a quick shout out to our U20 boys who will be participating and representing Canada at the CONCACAF tournament. Hopefully they can draw some inspiration from the senior men's team that showed every young Canadian player what is possible. Alright, so that brings us to the end of Matchday 13's recap from Canada Football Central. Now we look ahead to Matchday 14, which will kick off next Friday with the Halifax Wanderers taking on Supra de Quebec, while Vancouver will host Cavalry FC. So 2 huge fixtures with 2 huge table implications, and we will for sure be watching closely, and we're hoping you will be watching closely. But if not, come find us right here on Canada Football Central for more of the same, more recap, more football, more drama coming to you from the Canadian Premier League.